Hey guys, what's up? My name is Erin. In this video, we're gonna talk all about, it's gonna be super esoteric, talk all about souls, things that you didn't know about the soul, things you didn't know, okay? I'm super excited to talk about this. I felt guided this morning to be able to bring up this topic, and yeah, here we go. Okay, so we have this 3D body. They call it the 3D, the third dimension. I am Erin. Now let's say you are Bob and you're working a marketing job. You have a human storyline. You might go to the store, you might be trying to make money, you might have family. Okay, so there is also a spiritual story, and that is your soul's journey. That's your soul's story. And I like to call it the soul matrix, but some people call it the fifth dimension, okay, which is a higher dimension than the third dimension. In the soul matrix, there is a storyline, okay? But let's back up a little bit. Okay, what is a soul? So there is this, the universe, and a soul is like a splitting off of the universe. Okay, so my name is Erin, but I also have a spirit and I have a core frequency. My pure soul, who I truly am, I am not just a human. I am a spirit inside of a human body. This is just my vessel holding who I truly am. So my core essence, when I'm in my purest state, is my soul, and that is I feel different from other people. So when I'm in my heart, my energy is going to feel different than someone else's core soul frequency. So let's break this down a little bit. We have a lower self and we have a higher self. So this is my lower self, okay? I'm Erin, I'm in this physical body, and I know that I have a higher self, and I know that my higher self talks to me through my higher heart because I have that awareness. I do not currently identify as my higher self. Instead, I'm a human that feels guided by a spirit inside of me. Okay, so that's my lower self. That's my lower self's experience. And I have awareness of information coming through to me. I have awareness of stuff like that, okay? And this is also me in a lower dimension. Because I have a physical body, I am fourth dimensional, or I am third dimensional. Now what this means is I'm walking in the journey, experiencing it in real life. It feels like real life happening, okay? Versus observing my human play in this reality. Now that's the way the higher self sees it. So from a higher consciousness, when you are seeing through the eyes of your higher self, that's what happens when you're a higher consciousness, then you're watching your human aspect play in this reality, and you're able to guide and love and nurture your human in an even greater way, okay? So you become the puppet master to the lower self. So that's what the higher self is. It's kind of like a puppet master to the lower self. Okay, your higher self is the one that has free will. The higher self is the one that has a blueprint or a template of what your soul's journey is going to be like, what you would like to be able to guide and navigate your human through this journey to be able to achieve. And if you don't achieve it in this lifetime, then at least you will have gotten and advanced in some areas to where it could be easier in the next lifetime. So it's all about just advancing your human through this little matrix, this simulated reality to see here we're in, let's say you're playing Mario and you're in a world and you're competing and you're playing in this game, okay? And you're playing with you're jumping over stuff and you're going to different levels, and there's different challenges for each level. Now, a challenge could be codependency. That's a challenge that you have. And once you overcome and you heal codependency, then you get to level up to the next level. You get to advance. So that's kind of how it is with the higher self. You are a little character playing in the game, and the higher self is navigating you through this journey. So you are multidimensional. So and this kind of brings up the topic of time. So time does not exist, okay? This is important to know. From the soul matrix, time doesn't exist. Everything is just energy, okay? So from the higher self perspective, everything is just energy that's building, okay? So everything's like a manifestation that's building. And what they call this is, it's been known as parallel realities, which is what Einstein talks about, or it can be also known as timelines. So there's certain things that we focus on that are now building and growing. And I'm going to make another video probably like all about this, okay? So for example, everything that you experience in your life is a story. So the experience of maybe going home and seeing your family, that's a story. There's a story around how everything's going to play out. And that is also known as a timeline. So there's different realities that could actually play out. Now stick with me. So for example, you might be driving and you take a left. There's another reality where you took a right, and there's like a whole series of events that could have happened or played out. So from a higher self perspective, you are able to jump timelines. So for example of jumping timelines is like near-death experiences are like a more extreme example. You might be on a timeline of where you're meant to get hit by a car, but then you jumped timelines last second by choosing to align with a different reality based off your thoughts and your vibrations and your energy, and then you didn't end up getting hit by a car. Okay, so that's the topic of time that I'm going to talk about right now, and kind of introducing and bringing in parallel realities, which I know that I feel like I need to talk more about this in another video. That's what I'm going to say right now. So time doesn't exist from the higher self perspective. Instead, you can see different parallel realities that could potentially play out. And you can do shadow work around it. You can like timeline jump, which is where you do a shadow work. You see something that's about to play out and you kind of push it out of your energy field. And then you anchor in what you do want to experience. Okay, now we can do this also kind of from the fourth dimension too. This is a lot like manifesting. But from the soul matrix, we're going to call it timeline jumping. Okay, so now we're going to talk a little bit about the lower self. So my body has an energy system. I have chakras, I have an aura, and I have meridians. Now meridians are all connected to different organs in your body. And yoga and other things like Qigong really help clear out the meridian system. Okay, and I can make a whole different video all about the energy system too if you guys are interested. Comment below if you're interested in this. I do energy work and I do Akashic Records readings and all that. So if you're interested, just comment below. All about the meridians and chakras. So we have this energy system and we are like a river that flows. Our body should be like a river that flows. But what happens is we get energy blocks. And then we don't have as much life force energy flowing through us. So source comes up, it's flowing through our body. We have the soul that's able to flow through our body. Now, when we do shadow work or we go to an energy healer or we do clearing on our own system, then more of who we truly are is able to flow through us, which is our soul. So if you go to an energy healer, they're going to clear away as many blocks as you're ready to have cleared, so that more of your higher self, more of your soul can shine through. Now, blocks might be like, here's an example. Let's say that your soul's desire is to, experience having money in this lifetime. You might have a lot of limiting beliefs and conditioning that are blocking you from being able to align with who you truly are, which is to have money, that you are truly abundant, okay? You might have attachments towards wanting to stay where you are versus traveling, and your soul might want you to travel. So once we clear that away, then more of who you truly are is able to flow through, and you're able to have more of those experiences in your reality. Okay, so higher self perspective, navigating the human through this journey is like, okay, so we have these challenges in these levels. How do I help and navigate? How do I help the human to be able to overcome these challenges? Like, how can I navigate the human to be able to maybe have support? Maybe I can send the human thoughts like, oh, hey, here's a video that could help you, or here's this, or here's this. No, here's an example of how the higher self could help you. So let's say that you are in a toxic relationship and you're living with someone who's really toxic too. And you're going crazy because you're potentially like an empath. So your higher self, like what might happen is you might get pushed to the edge of, or to the bottom, like you might get knocked over a million times, and then finally you want change. And so that might lead you to meditation. So let's say your higher self is wanting you to wake up. So an example of this is you might be pushed to your edge until you're like ready to learn to meditate. You're ready for change. You're ready for something. You're ready to reach for something greater. And then you might have an awakening because you started meditating. Okay, so you're being navigated in certain ways. Let's say you're in a relationship that's super toxic. Your higher self, you might feel really uncomfortable in your body. You might end up going crazy because this relationship is just making you feel insane. You'll get pushed to your edge. Like it's trying to be like, hey, no, this relationship isn't good for you. You need to dip out of it. But you have some kind of attachment, some kind of maybe trauma bond to this relationship that's keeping you there, that you need to be pushed even further so that you can actually have a change in your life. So here's the thing, we can be either pushed to our edge, or we can be conscious and we can decide to jump off the tree versus being pushed off the tree. So that's just another example of how the higher self kind of navigates you through this. Now here's another one, which brings me up to soul contracts. So on a higher self level, there are souls who love you and who you love. So here's the thing, we love everybody. Like, our true nature loves everybody, but there are souls that we love even more. And it's because we know them. It's because there's that heart resonance. There is a part of their frequency resonates with your core frequency. Okay. So it's like you're cut from the same blanket, you're cloths from the same blanket. There are frequencies within you that vibrate similar to frequencies that are within them. Now, your soul group are those that come in and who have soul contracts with you, who have played with you in other lifetimes. They are souls that you really love deeply, and souls that love you the most oftentimes, and that you love the most, will oftentimes hurt you the most. And think about it, a soul that would agree to play out a role for you like that must love you, because in order to play out a role like that, they're helping you to become more of who you were born to become. So for example, you might have codependency, and you might attract a love avoidant partner who, it's like, hey, on a higher self level, you're like, hey, I have this wound, I have this challenge in my level that I need to overcome in order to become more of who I truly am, so I can unblock myself. Can you please come in and, I see that you are also love avoidant. Can you please come in and work with me? And perhaps you've also played out these roles for each other in past lives too, and you're just kind of overcoming karma with each other. You're helping each other. So here's the thing, souls will come in and they'll cause you a lot of discomfort. And discomfort is actually a gift, because it shows us where we're fragmented. It shows us what's blocking us from being who we truly are. Because who you truly are is love and abundancy and, love and light. Okay, your joy and happiness. Everything is unconditional. So when we have souls that come in and cause us discomfort, then we know what needs to be healed and what needs to be cleared, because everyone is just our mirror. Okay, so you have a soul group. Now, what is in the soul group? You have soulmates. You have, if you believe in like a twin flame, which is your other half, which is someone who vibrates at a very similar soul core frequency as you, who is your perfect match vibrationally. If you guys are both anchored in to who you truly are, then you should be able to recognize each other. You should be able to be a vibrational match to each other in some way. But not all twin flames are meant to be romantic in each lifetime. And I know that that's the truth. Like, you guys might have come here and you might have different soul missions that, you might just be like, yeah, you're my support. You're going to be someone that supports me in this lifetime. And I'm going to know that you're my twin flame. I'm going to love you on a deep higher self level, but I'm not going to be romantically attracted to you in this lifetime, because it's not meant to play out that way. That is the thing, I'm going to tell you. or like maybe it's just not going to work out. Like there's like a block that's preventing it from fully manifesting into that. So soulmates could be those that have played out family members. They could have been past life lovers. They could have been, friends, people that you have a deep heart resonance with. So for example, one of my best friends, she's a deep soul connection. Like we just instantly were magnetized to each other, and we kind of you have that soul recognition where it's like, like you feel like home to me. You feel comfortable to me. It feels like I've known you or I've met you before, and it's just so easy. Okay. And a twin flame is a very spiritual connection. So usually to me, twin flames are those that kind of accelerate your ascension process. And to me, they are those that activate you spiritually. Because you have a deep soul connection. And I also believe that there are those that are soulmates. And if you are an older soul, then you probably have a lot of soulmates. But you also probably have, and let's say you're more of an advanced soul, you probably have higher frequency soulmates who also activate you spiritually, and vice versa, because you have done a lot of spiritual work together in other lifetimes. Which brings me to, your soul has an age in a way, okay? So there are advanced souls that have been called to the planet to help with the shift of consciousness. These souls are those that have been here before, who have been awake in many lifetimes, who have perhaps been on different star systems in higher frequencies. Now, if you are a starseed, like me, then coming to Earth might be kind of weird if you've been in different star systems for a lot of, your past lives and stuff. Like it might be uncomfortable. You might have to learn how to ground again. You might have to learn how to function. For me, I had a huge Kundalini awakening that that accelerated my ascension process. I basically had a quantum leap in my awakening, and that's something my soul wanted to experience because I've done this before, and I'm meant to help the shift in even, in a greater way, just like maybe a lot of you are. We're meant to be way showers. So there, Mother Gaia called out like, hey, I need help. The planet needs a shift. Like we need these humans, these souls, we need a shift of consciousness here because I don't want to get destroyed. So a lot of advanced souls like me have been like, yeah, okay, we're coming. We're going to help with the shift of consciousness. We forget how hard it is, but we've done this in so many lifetimes before that you might have a huge Kundalini awakening. You might come here with a parent that's awakened. You might come here and it just happens faster than it does for, other people that are around you. And you might be pulled to be more of a way shower or a teacher. So there are baby souls. Baby souls to me are like those that get put into prison right away, or they, are ending up in a tribe because they need to ground more. So we've all been like baby souls before. They're just less advanced. Like they have only reached a certain part of their soul's evolution. So you might have family members in your life who aren't awake yet, and it's because they haven't reached that part in their soul's evolution. Like they might not have awoken in other lifetimes. And that's like a level that you can reach. If you're playing like in the Mario game or whatever, like that's a level that you eventually can reach where you are awakened and where you are a way shower. Now me, I have been awake in many lifetimes. I even came here with like 2 fused vertebrae in my neck. And I like to tell people it's because I was hung in so many lifetimes. I mean, I feel like my soul remembered, and I don't know if that's actually a thing, but I guess we'll never really know. But sometimes, you do remember. You do have like signs or whatever of your past lives. So let's talk a little bit about past lives. So let's say that you were an alcoholic in this lifetime. You were probably an alcoholic in other lifetimes too, and you've had to repeat and play it out until you overcome that level. You could have had suicidal tendencies and you might have killed yourself in a past life. You might have to reface all of that until you clear it and go to the next level. In past lives, you might have been a widow to a husband who went to war, and you grieved and gave up your soul's mission because you were grieving and had abandonment issues. And that might play out in this lifetime in different ways, different scenarios. You might have a partner that you love so deeply who like leaves you in some way, and you deal with like that abandonment issue. I know a lot of twin flames kind of deal with that, being like feeling that separation with someone that they love so deeply on a soul level. Plays out until you're able to overcome that level. Okay? Being able to face that perhaps codependency wound. Being able to, in the next level might look like, oh, like you get to now have your path and your purpose and your dreams, and you get to have a life that you love all aspects of. So let's say that you were really rich in a past life and you chose ego and you chose greed and you chose service to self. In this lifetime, you might also have a desire to be rich, but this time it might be about being service to others. When you learn to be service to others, that's when the money comes. And it just will never feel right to go back to the other way again. Like that's your karma that you're overcoming. And you kind of have an awareness of what it is, because it just doesn't feel right anymore. You have like a different blueprint that you're wanting to experience. Which brings me to say that, the soul wants to experience both ends. So the soul wants to experience, like if you do something to someone that is perhaps negative, you might want to experience that on a soul level. That's also like karma that plays out. So if you cheat on someone, like you might get cheated on so that you can have that experience, because that's how karma works. What comes around goes around kind of thing. That's like another topic to probably talk about. But one more thing I wanted to talk about, and stay until the end because it gets pretty good. But first, I feel like I have to say this. Please like this video if you like it. Comment below on any other topics or questions you might have for me. And please subscribe to my channel. It really helps me out. Helps me to be able to continue to make these videos for you guys. Thank you. So what happens when we sleep? What happens when we sleep? When we sleep, oftentimes what will happen if, and this could be arguable, maybe not for everybody, but for some of us, perhaps we leave our bodies, especially if you're an advanced soul. You can leave your body and you can help heal other people. Like you can teach people things. Like you can go up into the higher realms and have conversations with other souls. You talk to your guides, and perhaps you're like, oh, hey, like I need help with this. Like, are there any are there any people that want to like play out a role? So for example, like for me, I met someone and I wasn't sure if it was actually, good. I thought it could have been like maybe temporary or like short term. But then I felt a soul contract being renegotiated in the higher realms, that this person was able to reach certain parts of their evolution of their soul that perhaps weren't expected before and are wanting to keep up with me in that way. And so a soul contract was actually kind of renegotiated that, yes, this person is going to stay in your life longer. And I felt all of that and had the awareness of all of that happening. I had like one of my guides come and tell me that, because I kept wondering, because, when you're on this ascension path, you'll meet people, you'll learn the lesson, and then they'll fall away. Not many people, perhaps, are able to keep, like, they're just meant to be momentarily. They're just meant to be short term. So soul contracts and stuff can be renegotiated and stuff while you sleep. Like you can go up and get advice from your guides. You can receive downloads, which are information given to you from the higher realms, from like your guides and your higher self. You can be kind of reprogrammed or receive activations that bring around different experiences the next day. Something else I kind of wanted to add is, our higher selves know certain things. So my higher self knows a lot about energy work and knows a lot about, being a mystic. And I know a lot about money too, because I've had a lot of past lives where I've been really good at money. So, when I was doing energy work, sometimes I would reach out to my mentor's higher self and ask him questions during a session, like, oh, like, what do I do in this situation? And they can answer you. Okay, so when you're in a higher state of consciousness, like you can do stuff like that. It's kind of fun. It's kind of cool. You can astral travel, which is where you kind of leave your body. Like I was saying, when you sleep, sometimes you leave your body. You can go to like soul school, or I oftentimes will experience myself in like a battlefield in like another star system. It almost feels like a higher, yeah, it's kind of interesting. Like sometimes I'll witness stuff like that playing out. Okay, so I wanted to add one last thing. Okay, you can go to sleep and you can be intentional around your sleep. Like you can be intentional around being able to navigate in the dream world, being able to understand it more. You can also be intentional when you meditate that you want to bring in more activations, you want to bring in more downloads and information. Like you are a computer program, and when you meditate and you bring in energy from above, then it's like you're bringing in, you're updating your program, your system sometimes. And which brings me to one more thing I wanted to say. See, it's important to listen to the end of my videos because sometimes it gets really good. I'm just like, oh, I'm done, but then something else comes, okay? So sometimes our human form will be distracted with maybe meaningless tasks because things are being shifted and navigated in the higher realms in other areas of our life that we're currently not supposed to be looking at or putting attention towards. So we might be given like tasks to stay busy so that our human doesn't like look over there and try to figure things out or create more blocks. I don't know if you guys have ever read the book. I think it's called like Untethered Soul, and he talks about how the ego is kind of like your roommate. So you're a soul and you have a roommate, and your ego like talks to you, and you kind of want to keep things secret from your roommate so that your roommate doesn't try to ruin the surprise or the present that's on your way. But now we know how to do shadow work. So if the roommate does like have the awareness of something that could come in, like we can clear it and we can integrate it right away. We're not scared of the roommate anymore. We can get the roommate to work with us and head in the right direction. So I wanted to say one more thing about the roommate, about our mind. So our mind, we have a subconscious mind, and it's connected to all minds. Like we all share one mind, and we're constantly interacting with other people telepathically and energetically. We are interacting with them with our field. So think about it. Who's feeding you thoughts? Like there are other beings that can feed us thoughts, but it's not, don't be scared of those thoughts. Like you're a vibrational match to having those thoughts. Otherwise you wouldn't have them. So like you could be, let's say you're dealing with like some kind of weight issue. Like you could be fed thoughts like, oh, you're fat. Oh, like you're never going to lose weight. And you're being fed these thoughts by perhaps these other beings trying to keep you in a low vibe state. And so what like that's not scary anymore because we know how to do the inner work. We're not like, oh my God, I hate you being. It's like, no, that being is you because we're all one. It's just like your roommate. But like that's just something to note that, there are ways to kind of lower us and keep us in lower frequencies, like luring us in with alcohol and stuff. But it's not, when we start seeing it that way, then it's like, it's good to see it as oneness when it comes to that versus like the soul matrix, like, oh, there's a being trying to trick me or something. It's like, no, that's just something that's reflecting back to me, something within myself. Like it wouldn't be allowed to be there if I didn't let it be there on some level. But anyways, okay. I hope that this helps. I hope that this has shifted you in some way. I love everyone. Sending you all so much love and light. Bye.